By 1880, the growing industrial city of Syracuse was in desperate need of a reliable and cheap source of water. Onondaga Lake couldn't work because it was lower in elevation than the city, and the city government couldn't afford to pump Onondaga Lake water into their system. Skaneateles Lake, which was 460 feet above the level of the Erie Canal in Syracuse, would ensure adequate gravity flow along the nearly 20 miles length of required conduit. This eliminated the need for costly mechanical pumping. In what became known as the Great Water Steal, the city of Syracuse convinced the New York State Legislature to give Syracuse the rights to the water of Skaneateles Lake. By 1894, a 30-inch cast iron conduit that stretched 19 miles from Skaneateles to Syracuse was completed, and the city of Syracuse started drawing all of its water from Skaneateles Lake. Once Onondaga Lake was no longer needed for drinking water, a profound psychological shift began in the public perception of what Onondaga Lake could be used for. In 1884, the Solvay Process Company begins soda ash production along the shores of Onondaga Lake. Eventually, they will dump up to 6 million pounds per day of salty waste into the lake, and this continues until the company closes in 1986 as Allied Chemical, later to become the Honeywell Corporation. In 1901, as a condition of the lake deteriorates, ice harvesting is prohibited. The amusement parks and resorts round the lake begin to close permanently. Lakeshore homes are abandoned. In 1918, the Solvay Process Company begins production of organic chemicals. The waste from that production is dumped into the lake. In 1940, swimming is banned, and the last public beach is closed because of sewage contamination. Raw sewage from Syracuse's sanitary sewage system is discharged into the lake during periods of heavy rain, a practice that continues to this day. In 1946, Solvay Process, now Allied Chemical, begins chlorine production on the shores of Onondaga Lake. Mercury waste from the process are discharged directly into the lake. In 1970, all fishing is banned. It is discovered the fish are heavily contaminated with mercury. It is calculated that 22 pounds per day of mercury have been discharged into the lake. The United States Attorney General finally sues Allied Chemical to stop the mercury dumping. The Attorney General's office estimates that from 1946 to 1970, Allied has dumped almost 165,000 pounds of mercury into Onondaga Lake, contaminating 7 million cubic yards of sediment on the lake bottom. 76 years after the decision is made to stop drawing drinking water from Onondaga Lake is recognized as one of the most polluted bodies of water in the world. It is one of only 3 lakes on the Environmental Protection Agency's federal Superfund list of toxic waste sites. It had literally become a massive toilet bowl for the city of Syracuse. 19 miles away, still connected by the same 30-inch pipe, Skaneateles Lake is recognized as one of the cleanest lakes in the world. Today, the city of Syracuse draws 42 million gallons of Skaneateles Lake water per day. So pure is its water, it is one of the very few water sources in the United States that does not require filtration. In a nationwide taste test, Skaneateles Lake water was ranked second, coming in behind only the pure glacial waters of Anchorage, Alaska. Since 1894, the city of Syracuse has enforced around Skaneateles Lake some of the most dramatic and drastic environmental regulations ever developed in the United States. No sewage may be discharged into the lake, treated or untreated, without severe penalty. Because there is no sewage system around most of the lake, the city water department developed a variety of methods for dealing with the waste products of the residents. For many years, the city water department's honey wagon was a familiar sight to the summer residents of the lake. The water department's outhouses were placed behind summer homes around the lake, and city workers spent their days emptying the outhouse buckets by hand. The city also supported the development of sewage treatment facilities in the village of Skaneateles and regularly patrolled homes and farms around the lake to ensure the water's purity. Skaneateles Lake has been immune from the development pressure other lakes have seen in recent years because of those strict rules. As a result, Skaneateles is almost locked in time. It remains the same jewel in 2004 that it was in 1884 when the city of Syracuse first looked upon it as a source of water. A visit to Skaneateles today reveals a quaint village that is a major upstate New York tourist destination. The village sits on the lake on its northern end. It has quaint shops and expensive restaurants. The village sees visitors from around the world and has been the summer home of the rich and famous, including President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Senator Robert Kennedy, and Bill and Hillary Clinton. Visitors to the village can swim on a village beach or enjoy a stroll along the village pier, which extends hundreds of feet into the lake. A drive around the lake reveals multi-million-dollar lakefront homes interspersed with farms. The views from the hills surrounding the lake reveal some of the most beautiful scenery in the eastern United States. The lake is noted for its fishery, which includes rainbow trout and landlocked salmon. Village homes are the most expensive in central New York.